I don't know about you guys, but I'm fairly certain this right here is a psyop. As the hippie movement probably was the perfect way for the intel agencies to break up the family unit and get people into things like Satanism, as of course now there's a lot of conspiracies afoot here, as we have a very interesting Fox News segment that kind of layouts the psychological operation that's ongoing against the American people right now as judges are having their way with Trump's agenda. All of this as I fear that he is walking into the footsteps of what just happened to the Brazilian former president, Bolsonaro, who is now going to be serving 27 years in jail. Alex Jones just issued another red alert towards this globalist Democratic Party CIA coup d'etat that he thinks is going to be in play here very soon. What in all actuality is happening here? Well, we're going to go over the rumors, the speculation, the theories, and try to give you an honest understanding of what's happening right now with a lot of internal buzz happening behind the scenes. And we're going to verify whatever we could verify and try to have an honest discussion about it. If you appreciate these type of discussions, subscribe, click the notification button. We greatly appreciate all the time you spend with us. Now, the Trump administration and the Republicans are working on some weird things. The Republicans are like, yeah, we disavow socialism. We voted for, yeah. And I'm like, you don't codify anything that he's doing? Right now, the transportation secretary is like, hey, stop wearing pajamas on planes. Really? That's your messaging? I mean, with all the facial recognition tech that this administration has set up, all this ghettoification of the TSA, which, by the way, should be privatized and eliminated. And we had an opportunity to do that during the government shutdown, but they never did that. All of that is infuriating and frustrating. Yeah, I'm going to wear what I want, especially in your track, trace, and database digital national identification system that is spying on everyone. As, of course, Fox News broke down what they are calling a psychological operation against the American people, as they talk about how two former CIA officers came out in a viral video, which Donald Trump responded to in a way that I thought was a little bit uncalibrated and not calculated. As of course, he retracted his statements. The White House had to clarify his statements as he talked about how there needs to be treason charges for these Democrats making videos telling soldiers and intelligence assets to disagree and to not follow through on the direct actions and orders of the Commander-in-Chief of the United States with Donald J. Trump. Now, here's this Fox News segment from the 5 that really kind of broke it down point by point that I think is worth paying attention to, because I don't think people understand the severity and the craziness of the situation that we're in, as there are multiple types of situations happening behind the scenes, especially when it comes to the intel agencies that a lot of people believe are still in charge here when it comes to understanding the current kind of lay of the land of our political broken system. That's not really broken. It's just meant to seem broken as a way it's working very perfectly for very powerful people in the donor class.
So I talked to two CIA officers who said that this is a part of a larger hoax, and what they're doing here is they're trying to condition the country to prepare for something bad that's about to happen at the hands of Donald Trump.
Yeah, that video that they released was like, listen, he's going to give you orders, don't follow them. What orders and what's going to happen here? As, of course, the Trump administration, the first thing I think about, it's like, oh, civil strife. Oh, yeah, they took out Charlie Kirk. They tried to shoot Donald Trump. We still don't know anything about the shooter. We still don't know anything about the J6 pipe bomber. That's just weird, isn't it? Isn't that the kind of a weird scenario and situation? What in the world's going on here? I wonder, as of course now there are serious talks and considerations being done right now with the National Guard, with the military, preparing them for civil strife. Do these Democrats see a civil strife coming? And they're saying, hey guys, don't listen to him. As some people are saying, the movie Civil War was predictive programming. As of course, it stayed out of the political jargon, but the representation and ideas of a strong woman coming into the White House and taking down that white male, I think was indicative of something that they're trying to predictively program, especially when it comes to laying down the groundwork for what a lot of people believe to be a kind of tumultuous conflict domestically here inside of the United States, which I think we should be doing everything in our power in order to prevent. But here, Jesse Waters breaks down what he sees as a psychological operation potentially leading to something like I've described.
It's straight out of the CIA playbook. It's a destabilization operation where you get people to mistrust each other. And you do this because she's an analyst. And as an analyst, she would make sure what...
This is the former CIA asset member of Congress, member of the Senate coming together and releasing this video.
Propaganda operations were successful, which ones weren't. So she knows...
It's like, hey guys, we're here from the CIA. Look at me looking like a spy here. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? No, like literally, you wear the turtleneck, literally, and then you wear your leather jacket. It's like, yeah, I'm CIA. It's more, I think, of sending a message to Donald Trump than anybody else. Now, before playing the rest of this Jesse Water excellent analysis here, really quickly, really shortly, we just wanted to tell you about thebestpoliticalshirts.com, where you can get shirts like the one I'm wearing right now. This one says, I identify as hyperinflation, and it has some great representation of what hyperinflation actually looks like. It's deranged, it's crazy, it's insane! We also have a lot of great Christmas sweaters, hoodies, long sleeves right here that are hilarious. Whether you want to make fun of Dr. Fauci or make fun of Mr. Epstein or Mr. Klaus Schwab or Biden, whatever it is, I think it's important to wear your political message. This one, a little spicy right here. I love these shirts, and they're just a great way when you go to these gatherings or friend givings or whatever. Get the shirts now so you can get them before Christmas, and you will be the talk of the party. Listen, your family likes to discuss politics. Great. You could let them know exactly where you stand. Some of them are telling you, don't discuss policy. Don't discuss politics at the dinner trip. You don't have to. But you could wear a shirt like this one or a sweater. Look at that. Wonderful sweater. BuzzFeed got triggered by this and took down our store, by the way. True story. They destroyed our store. So we started a new one. We got a lot of great quality products, and we're working with a really incredible company. Great products, all available to you. You want to find the shirt I'm wearing right now? You type in inflation, and you type in search, and bada bing, bada boom. You got it available right here as well. So get the shirts. Great way to do your forms of lazy activism. Now here, back to Jesse Waters describing this kind of psychological operation as he sees it.
Is what works. So the first part of the video, you establish authority. I'm CIA, I'm military, you need to trust us. Second part of the video, they introduce the threat, and the threat's not foreign, the threat's domestic, the threat's Donald Trump. And then
yeah, Donald Trump's orders. Now, Donald Trump's orders, listen, comparatively to the Biden administration, has been limited in scale, especially when it comes to the polarization of our society, especially when it comes to utilizing the DOJ that has failed time and time again.
And at the end, they introduce the solution. What's the solution? You resist. You say no. But they don't give an option. They say this is an obligation for you to do. Now, she is being run because she didn't come up with this herself. She's a Brennan acolyte, and you usually don't have congressmen and senators doing anything together. They kind of hate each other. So in order to organize this had to have had some sort of handler telling her what to do. And it was risky because nothing like this has ever been done in the history of the country. And you can even tell because the media was skeptical and they couldn't answer the question. So they hadn't even been read in on the operation. You see them fumbling and stumbling. And I'm glad that the U.S. military is now investigating this guy, Kelly, because this is what we expect from Donald Trump 2.0. You can't have the deep state interfering with a duly elected presidency and get away with it. You got to draw the line in the sand, and you have to make examples out of people.
And listen, this is the kind of overt way that they did it. They released a little PSA spy video. It's like, listen, we're CIA, trust us. There's WMDs. We have to liberate Libya. We have to liberate Syria. No consequences for that. In and out. Clean job. Yeah. And again, this is how they do it overtly. Covertly, They lie to Trump about the troop numbers, and they do a lot of other underhanded things. Now, the Trump administration has been looking weak. There's judges that are just doing whatever they want. A U.S. district judge just freed a person who attempted to drive a U-Haul truck into federal agents, right? There's the sandwich guy, a guy, former DOJ guy, threw a sandwich at ICE agents, and someone used jury nullification and said, yeah, he's not guilty. And then Pam Bondi's chasing the sandwich guy. He's like, we got to get the sandwich guy. There was a shoving incident in a college. We got to go after that. And I'm like, As now, a Clinton-appointed judge just dismissed the Comey and Letitia James cases, saying that Lindsay Halligan was invalidly appointed here. Therefore, even though there's a lot of evidence pointing to clear wrongdoing from these individuals, especially Comey, like it's pretty clear, they're like, oh, yeah. On a technicality, we got to let him go. Fox News reported on it.
Getting dismissed. The judge ruling the appointment of interim U.S. Attorney Lindsay Halligan violated the Constitution. The judge also criticized the DOJ for allowing an FBI agent who viewed Comey's privileged materials to testify to the grand jury. Now, the judge also tossed the case against Letitia James. Donna, we are just getting this on the wire. Talk to us about your top-line thoughts in this moment.
Well, frankly, I'm not really surprised about the appointment of the Attorney General on that situation.
And listen, there was people within the whole MAGA movement that were calling and be like, this is not going to be successful. And I said, remember when I did the video, I was like, oh my God, they're indicting him. If this doesn't work, if this backfires, it's going to look tragic and it's going to look like an absolute failure. Now, the midterms are coming up. Trump probably will lose those. No teeth, and he will be impeached immediately as soon as the Democrats, and no legislation will be passed, and nothing will be able to be codified.
I did think that was going to be an issue, and I did think from the very beginning that Comey was going to have a valid legal argument. And what's interesting about the decision is it doesn't go to whether or not crimes are actually committed. It just goes to the way in which the prosecutor was appointed. So I'm not surprised legally when it comes to that issue.
Right. Do we foresee at all then an appeal or a different then prosecution, a second bite of the apple then with procedural things intact?
Now it's going to be more difficult, and now there's conversations about firing people, and it's just a big old mess. As right now, Donald Trump is following in the footsteps, and I think he needs to be notified of this because there's a lot of very interesting parallels between what happened in Brazil. They had their own J6, by the way. And what is happening here domestically inside of the United States. As the former president of Brazil, also a populist, they called him the Trump of Brazil, also a man that they attempted to take out. They literally stabbed him. He still has multiple complications and serious ailments that he's dealing after being stabbed and almost taken out. But he just exhausted all of his appeals, and he has been sentenced to 27 years in jail. That's what's facing Donald Trump, all right? And I think Donald Trump needs to understand if he doesn't take a legitimate action, that's his future. And Alex Jones has a similar message as he just said, red alert, red alert.
First person to talk about it and to sit here like a papagano, a parrot, and alert, alert, alert. Globalist forces in the base, alert, alert, danger, danger, alert, alert. And finally, it's an explosion of it all over the place, and the White House is listening to what I've told them behind the scenes.
Are they acting on it, though? Because right now, we got interesting news that Trump is considering firing Kash Patel. The White House responded, no, that's not the case. First it came out, White House is considering firing Susie Wiles. Then they were like, no, that's not the case. Then it came out, White House considering firing Pam Bondi. And it's like, oh, no, that's not the case. So who do you believe here? Lots of sources, lots of news coming out. Unverified sources, you don't know who to trust, you don't know who to believe. But it's pretty clear here. A lot of people are expecting a shakeup at some of the people that I would argue have not done the best of jobs, specifically looking at Pam Bondi here. As Viva Frei came out, especially with what's happening right now with the Second Amendment, as soon as Pam Bondi was replaced, the Congressman Matt Gaetz, former Congressman Matt Gaetz, I was like, oh boy. I'm from Florida. She does not have a good record with the First Amendment and Second Amendment. That's exactly what I said. And as soon as they appointed, I'm like, this is not good. I don't like this. Not my favorite. We'll see how she does, but this is her record against the First Amendment, Second Amendment. It's not looking good. Everyone's like, oh, shut up. Now, Viva Frey writes, quote, she has been close to an abject failure as you can get. Bad on COUP regarding Dr. Moore. Bad on Biden era crypto prosecution regarding Roger Ver. Roger Ver luckily got freed, by the way. That's super awesome and incredible. Bad on free speech. Douglas Mackey, that's another wild case there. Bad on the Second Amendment. And only, quote, deep state prosecution was the pittedly 2-count charge against Comey that just got tossed. Trump should get rid of her and replace her with Bailey. Edit typo. I forgot to include the Epstein debacle, the biggest unforced error of either of Trump's 2 terms. As a lot of people are like, hey, how did Pam Bondi do? 1 to 10. And there's a lot of discussions about what's going to be done here. The first response, what the F has she done? A lot of people are saying there's some room for improvement, but Ivan Ratcliffe, I think, really here highlights everything. And again, listen, I know a lot of this stuff takes a lot of time to get done properly, but a lot of people's patience is just wearing thin, right? We saw what the Democrats did, especially with the DOJ, especially with the FBI. We saw how they went after podcasters, social media influencers, lawyers, political pundits, and they didn't hold back. There was FBI agents, parents, teacher school conferences, Catholic organizations. It's like, yeah, we got to make sure they're... And I'm like, come on. This is ridiculous. And people are saying, where's the arrest? The Russian collusion hoax? As, of course, Tulsi Gabbard says, I have recommendations for criminal referrals. We're sending it to Pam Bondi and to the desk of Congress. And then it's like, oh, they didn't do anything. Huh. What's worse is, listen, this situation is ripe for what some people describe as a potential, false flag. General Flynn and Alex Jones are also warning about that here. Mike Pence, who, has his ear to the ground and knows exactly what's kind of going on here, just sent a direct message to the FBI and DOJ saying, hey, guys, we got to fix what's going on here, especially with the J6 pipe bomber crisis. There's no delivery on transparency, and the American people want this. And Mike Pence is like, dude, do something. Upload the raw files from different angles. Let people do this. Upload the interviews the FBI conducted. Upload the FBI and DOJ forensic assessments. Screw it. Let 4chan do this. Upload every internal DOJ email and text messages relevant to the case here. As, of course, Kash Patel says, yeah, soon. He just did an interview. He's like, soon we'll get everything. But again, a lot of people have just lost trust. A lot of people have just lost the ability to say, I trust it. I trust the plan. As people are saying, what plan? Is there even a plan? This makes no sense at all. And a lot of people are disillusioned, dissatisfied, blackpilled, and are saying, dude, you see what's happening in Bolsonaro? That's going to be happening to you. And I agree with some of Alex's assessments here. And again, he has more access than I do. And he's saying, okay, they got the message. What are they going to do next? What's the appropriate thing to do next? What do you think? Let me know in the comment section down below. Here's the rest of what Alex had to say about this.
And what I've said publicly over and over again, and I've apologized to regular listeners saying, I know you've already heard this 500 times in the last 2 months, and 1,000 times the last year, because we've got to get the administration to explain they're the underdog and that they're still overwhelmed by the globalists.
Yeah, and then there was even the discussion by Kash Patel being like, look, and other people around him that were saying, look, the FBI is a big ship. We're going to get control of the ship. A lot of people are saying they don't even have control of the ship yet.
Which they are. We got a bigger beachhead than 8 years ago. And then people will understand why he can't get a lot of stuff done he wants. Trump's swinging for the fences, folks. And he can't make deals with the old CIA, still run by Brennan. All these surrogates that came out, just like I told you, that Brennan...
And a lot of people believe there was a deal made with the Epstein stuff. And again, the political capital that has cost him, the trust, the kind of positive energy that propelled him, gone because of it. Because of what looks like more and more a CIA deal that he cut out with them.
And put these senators and Congress people, a bunch of them former CIA, not just one of them. And it's that son of a bitch. It's not even nice. That's mean to call him a son of a bitch. There's nothing wrong. You know, if your mama didn't have a husband when she had you. That cockroach. Well, that's too mean to cockroaches. That demon. And you see the power of the courts they pretty much control, I'd say 80% of, with Comey and Letitia James, who are so arrogant because they are the establishment.
Yep. So how do you buck back? Or do you make a deal with them? I think a deal was made, and I think it's not looking good for Trump. That's my assessment. Do you think I'm wrong? I am. And again, everyone's wrong sometimes. But let's start the conversation down in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for supporting this independent media organization. Get your Christmas sweaters and all of the great shirts that are available to you on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. Anyway, stay tuned for more, all here exclusively on youtube.com/weare